for illumined life to be birthed into form. I am the truth. I am the light. Illumined, beloved divine.
So hello there, beloved ones, and welcome to this video message with me here today. It's finally warm enough a bit for me to record a mini video snippet here right at home, just where I am right now in this moment. So I want this approach to be a more feminine approach to our new reality. So I want to share something with you, and I had the strong knowing that I once already read from this notebook. And what this is, it's basically beloved poetry and journal of mine from, dating all the way back to 2018 and 2019, something like that. And it actually started as a beloved journal, but then it went into a more sharing of personal struggles that I was going through. So just recently I was guided to go through this journal again, and it was very fascinating to see the struggles, the challenges I was already experiencing back in 2017 and 2018, and just before 2019 went straight into a more difficult experience towards the second half for me. And it was kind of difficult to read all these things, but basically when I was reading through this journal, there were some things that started to make more sense for me, like all the struggles and trials that my inner child was having, I was expressing here in this mini booklet. Now I know the answers to and why these struggles were there. At the bottom, at the core of the struggle was my isolation, and it was this call of my inner child to live in a better world, to live in a better realm, to live in a realm where the beloved leads the way, where the feminine principle life is the ruling overarching principle, because it is the feminine that boosts the masculine so they can work together, they can flow together in that love and their divinity. So I stumbled upon this message called, it's actually the Artist's Journey of Soul Alchemy, but then it's an introduction to the way the inner realm of the soul should translate into the outer realm. And I believe when I read it for the first time, must have been in 2019 though. So if you probably go and look at my videos since then, you probably find this reading that I did, because I do remember I read it to all, and I think it's time to read it again, because those of you maybe who watched it already, or those of you who are new, it's time for a deeper passageway of what this reading means for all of us, because it is an introduction to the new realm. So the old world that we are still witnessing, crumbling down, or what we call the world of transition, is the world where many even volunteer souls come and they make their offerings and even sacrifices, or not just of their time as we would like to think of that in those terms, but also of their grace to, for an angelic being to land in such a difficult realm or planet. It is quite a sacrifice, and a lot of people don't know that, so they don't show the proper amount of appreciation of what all it takes to get someone like that even embodied here, and what their message is. But it's not just a message, message you hear and then it goes out again on the other side. It is a call. It is a summoning. It's like angels, they sing songs of life, of creation, and they're summoning all of life to return to a more immaculate state. And that is basically what my journey was. And reading this journal was basically years of trials and going through this, because we all, of course, we have better memories always stay with us of good, joyful times more than that which we called it's a time of difficulty and struggle. So it's interesting to read something like that, to actually see how much, one has struggled and toiled. And for me, it was a constant, all my life I was struggling. I just didn't show it. I just, I always wore this face of grace, no matter what. And because of that, I gave this probably an impression to people that I'm always fine and nothing, is the matter, because I live in this higher realm. My consciousness is of the higher realm, but I've taken upon the same human body just as anyone else. And because of that, I struggled. And because of that, I struggled even more. because a higher consciousness in a dense human body is never an easy thing to experience. So I will read you this again, and let us feel into it more. Let us listen into with depth what I believe my inner child wrote so masterfully at that time, and what I shared from the core of my beautiful heart. The old world is a world of control, and my journey of soul transformation and transfiguration is a long, arduous journey which consists of so many waves, constant death and rebirth cycles, all in tiny waves which continue crashing onto the shore. And each time I feel like a part of me with that dies. It feels like I can no longer be and sustain the same masks and the idea that I can do simply anything and always have it all together. Like I can never truly surrender to the sense of that which is beyond all control. Like my heart is an explosion of love, an eruption of the true me, the self, reflecting life back to itself, organic child, going right into the core of the matter, and all that is good and truthful in life. I want to so desperately get rid of the bottom of it all, to get right to the bottom of it all, and leave this sense of control for good. However, it doesn't always happen that way, and I have to have more patience and strength to persevere. Every day, I have to allow myself to do at least one thing just for me. This journey of playing the game through masks has to end. And it is a world, this old world of transition even. It is a world where we still haven't really put all of our masks off, right? There has to be more to life than just always keeping it together. Routine tasks and chores, things to handle, things to go and to achieve. There has to be more to life than just becoming a robot or a mechanical creature dying along with the system that's infected and long overdue. This world is so out of its order, so out of tune already. We're trying to fix it on the outside by giving more rather than just making sure that our own song of the soul is sung right in the rhythm and heartbeat of the great universe as the one eternal A chord of Om. We do that by anchoring our presence here so truthfully and beautifully, genuinely and authentically. We do not do it by just playing along, pleasing, and playing this game. The authentic inner world, full of richness and beauty, does not just happen. The outer world of beauty and harmony also doesn't just happen. We must choose it, and then we must live it by singing our authentic song of soul presence and dancing to the harmonious rhythm of the presence that feels just right. That's not the kind of song of life which we need to fight for, struggle along, and make just, somehow, just make it. That's the effortless union that's already there and always has been. It's one heartbeat away, and it's in each breath of life that we inhale. All we must do is consciously choose not to resist it, and the wondrous magic of existence, the inner spark of the divine inside. We already have and are whatever we are, what we want, when we need. We are that. This life is not meant only to endlessly seek the path and wander along. This life is so much more, and the gifts of higher and more refined pursuits are just as important, if not even more, than putting the daily bread on the table. With each soul breath, more memory comes in, and with it, more wisdom, more true understanding, and more open compassion. With it, our need for soul refinement in the physical world grows. We want more out of life, but not, just on the outside. We want more of God. We want more of spark as it meets the embrace of the flesh, the physical body. There's pure heart in this, and this is where our magnificence lies, and this is where true beauty is hidden. We want more of life, not because we're hungry and depleted on the inside. This is not of such nature. We want more love in the way it wants to be anchored through us into this world. This world does not need change. What it needs is more love, and then change happens. So beautifully, automatically, and spontaneously. Joyfully, even. It is not expected or forced. It simply is, and it comes because the space for invitation has opened. It has been created, and it was asked. More love divine was called for. And we do that because we know that what was before and was of the world of the mind, habit, and extreme duality of the status quo is not enough. not anymore. It is never that which will push for change. It is only the heart. It is all about the heart. The heart is everything, and it wants to be heard like never before. No more excuses, no more lies, no more wearing false masks, whether the reasons are internal or external. We are done hiding from ourselves and the world, losing ourselves in the process. We are not here to die and return, only to keep on dying and, of course, returning. We are here to be reborn and to awaken to the world by enlivening the spark within ourselves. We did well with knowledge. It worked, for some amount of time. But we did not fully thrive. Another world is there, in front of our footsteps, what it feels like, only just a glimpse away. A world of beauty, grace, and wisdom is born of love. The love inside which doesn't exist to burn. It is the love that gives birth, an impulse of new life. So many still seek structure and prominence, which can even lurk and hide in the spiritual domains. But even that structure is a mask. It is a false self-created demon which hides before the truth. And the truth is simple. The truth has always been simple, and the truth is life. And in that pure essence of life, we are already free. Already, we do not have to try hard at it. We do not have to bump our heads against the wall as we only come to meet more of the ceiling. We know there is more to life than meets the surface. It is because our inner knowing feels it to be so. Our inner vision of perfection and beauty never lies. It knows what it's really hiding on the inside. It was born of that essence. And it wakes up every day with an existence to reenact itself back into love, back into the core, the very heart of creation and who we truly are, as one, as that pure spark of life. And in this simple knowing, we understand so purely that our lives are not meant to run on standby mode, an autopilot. Our lives are meant to be magnificent, a true work of art. Our lives perhaps don't always feel like such on the outside. However, every soul somehow knows that it shall eventually be reborn into the world of love. This is not a world of structured linear reality. This is a world of spiraling forms, moving, making love, sharing, exchanging, growing, expanding, beautifying, refining, unifying, loving. We are that love. It is love that gave us our first and primordial, primal spark of life. It is love that gave us our first form, our first breath, and it's love that shall give us our true rebirth. As we are born again into love, the end journey back into the very core of love shall meet its maker, however, not always in simple ways. Most often very challenging ways as we witness our last steps in the chapter of duality and separation, right? The world of transitioning. The separation from the heart of love, our true and lasting home, in which we always abide eternally. Yes, indeed, the end days will be most trying, testing us to the very core. This is not the end of the world. This is the end of the world as we once knew it to be, through the eyes of duality. And it has to die within every single one of us, before love can be reborn in the world at large. Every one of us has to gradually and then suddenly return to the core where our true essence resides beyond all masks and worn out roles. There's a garment of light waiting for us, and spirit is the queen of light that shall sit and claim that throne. However, love is not here to simply conquer and win. There is no winning in unity. Love simply is here to remind everyone and everything of its true home. Love is all, and that's why it's only claiming role, as it reclaims every one of us through the motherly embrace of sweet grace. In peace, stillness, and surrender, we shall all know that world of illumination, even in what we call our form. It is the ultimate test and the gift of life in spirit presence, and it shall stand the test of time. As you and I now make space for the return of Almighty's grace, it shall live in you and me for all of life to see, to live and to tell of the greatest story of love ever told, which came to fully know itself in form. And this was basically the declaration of love in unity by spirit. And I read it before, and I think it was winter time, as I also feel through looking at the dates. It was January. It was actually the new year just came into passing. And with these simple words and that being deepened, I have to share that it's interesting how sometimes the things, we wrote to ourselves are timeless messages, and sometimes we open up a little trinket, a little mini box here and there to witness ourselves as we were, as we are now, and see all that has already changed. So the world, of course, continues to change, but in relation to what I've been talking about, the new realm, the new ascended realm, it doesn't just happen, and it won't just automatically happen. But that realm is already here for everyone who is already living as a living testament of love. Their presence is becoming more timeless, more youthful, more radiant every single day. And although our bodies seem to grow older and, weary at times, and, they sometimes get even sick due to, let's say, certain circumstances of life. However, the essence of the soul, moving through what we call physical organic ascension, is refining the subtle bodies, which are feeling all these changes. These bodies are feeling these changes, and we can't really put them into words, and we can't define what the new ascended realm is. So no person who still lives in the mind and complete mind control, and they want to have all the answers before they start believing into something, will feel that, and they will actually be deprived of that feeling, of the feeling of love that is the mother's gift to all. It is the new world for which many of us have already been preparing and feeling the inner visions and our plans for, and we might believe now, perhaps, why didn't this come true in this life or in this physical essence, or maybe I didn't work hard enough, maybe I didn't push through enough. But it's actually the opposite. The new realm is not something we enter by pushing harder, by doing harder, by being harder. The word being and trying or pushing cannot coexist in one same sentence. So those of you who've been feeling the weight needing to be lifted off your shoulders, let me tell you that every single one of us has put a tremendous amount of burden, and it just lies all around us. And at times we feel this effortless sense of just floating somewhere in space or being relaxed. And most often it is, at least for me, when I'm outside in nature, just staring at the sun like this, basking in the golden light of the Christ coming through these beautiful solar rays. And at times life feels difficult. So it's still duality playing itself out, even in this world that we call the world of transitioning. But there is this light that some of us feel like the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's not just, something you might experience and then you die and you come back to this world. This is the light that leads already into the new realm, the new world. And it's a mystical process. Otherwise, it wouldn't be what it is. And all mystical processes require only one thing of us, and that's trust in God, and that's faith in the divine. And trusting ourselves by knowing that God is that ultimate and that always shall provide what is our biggest, greatest heart desire. And for many of us, it is that. It is to live in a world where we can be with each other, when we can just also physically be present with each other, not just live as random needle points located all around the planet, as many volunteer souls have been, as you know, as a space of gathering and community and communal dance and coming together in that space of honoring companionship, camaraderie, or kinship that we feel between our souls. And besides all the information I was pouring out throughout the years, I think it's vitally important to share the aspect of love that is this undying quench, this thirst that never goes out until that desire will be fully fulfilled. And we are in that new realm. And the choice for each and everyone as an individual has already been made by their soul, and hence this desire to refine themselves and to purge of the aspects that still kind of hook them or bind them to what we call this old world. So you have an old world, the world of transition, and the ascended realm, or the new world. That's it. And that's why we are either in the dark, in gray zone, or within the light. And those who already are within the light, but we're still in the transition realm, it's because we sometimes need to be that beacon or that lighthouse for those who still struggle, and they still need to see the light of the day which we call the glory of Christ. So anyway, my beloveds, I will not go further into philosophical aspects of this message. I hope each and every one of you felt it straight into your hearts. I have a beautiful pendant that I'm just guided to wear these days. I just love its golden but also very earthly essence. So I will say goodbye for now. I will leave you as always within love, wisdom, and power. Take great care of yourselves, and so much love and devotion to Spirit.